Today I'm going to be discussing my nutrition and health presentation proposal and discussing what is necessary for me to research for this presentation. So my topic is menu labeling and nutrition information on menus. First, so part 1 is to describe the health and nutrition issue. So I broke it down in little sections. I wrote a little bit of information, but I'm going to go into more detail on what I would specifically research about them and how I would use it for my presentation. So first, describe the issue. So specifically the calories, the fats, the sugars, etc. are listed on different menus in order to provide the customer with knowledge about specific foods. So I would research as to what specific informations are usually listed, which I do know it's calories, but some places might have it different, and how this can affect, but we'll get into that. How it affects health is, I'll research how it helps consumers make educated food decisions and how people's decisions are changed depended on what the menu says. The history of the issue, I'm going to research the Nutrition Labeling and Education Act of 1990 and the Affordable Care Act, which I do know a little bit about. I did mention that in the next few slides. Clinical aspects, I'm going to research the calorie information and how it affects meal selections and how it can encourage healthier practices and can influence decisions. For demographics, I'm going to research how labeling affects adults and adolescents and how it affects specific populations and disparities in regions. For implications for public health, I'm going to research how it decreases obesity and chronic illness rates. Part 2 is arguments, viewpoints, and evidence. To describe why this issue is controversial and explain at least 2 different sides of the issue. So I'm going to research on how nutrition aids people into making better and smarter decisions, the fact that eating out is so common, how when nutritional information is shown, what is changed about people's specific decisions. This can be controversial because based on the individual, they can have different opinions on whether what the calories say is going to change what they decide to choose and eat off the menu. Viewpoint 1 is advocates for public health, so I was going to argue and I was going to do more research about it, how menu labeling assists in chronic illness and obesity, like I mentioned. Evidence could be showing calories and having people decide which item is better, the one with less calories or the one with more. Guidelines, I could talk about FDA's nutrition labeling of standard menued items in restaurants, and then talk about retail food establishments. Viewpoint 2, I could mention the prices of how much it costs to add nutrition information on menus, how customer selections are or are not impacted, and discuss how much for small businesses this could truly hurt them financially. Political, clinical, cultural, and social factors. For socio-cultural, I could talk about diabetes, obesity again, and just say how certain groups, look into what groups value it and what groups do not. Economic factors, look up the prices on how expensive it could cost to find this information out for these small businesses about the calories and what ingredients go in their food and how much this really relates to calories. Political factors is that chain restaurants are required by federal law. I could do more research on the Affordable Care Act. Individuals for menu labeling. You could see if the informational tool can really fight obesity. It can show the rates of that. And I could just show if customers really do care or not care about this. Ethical considerations and actions. This is part 4. I can talk about ways in which they use the nutrition labels. Once again, the Affordable Care Act. This is going to be a big thing. I'm going to definitely focus on who and other health groups provide the customers with food awareness, give some examples on different items, different calories that are shown, difficulties in complying with different businesses and if they will ever make small businesses as well require to have the calories shown. And in conclusion, I'm going to include all aspects of nutrition, show different examples of a lot of things, different sides of the argument, whether nutrition labels are necessary or not, and whether having calorie counts on menus changes anything. Thank you.